March 2015. I had just crossed the year mark of living in Vegas. Now, even though I slept on the floor for most of it, and my only piece of furniture was a table I got trash picking, I still did it. I hadn't returned to Jersey with my tail between my legs. I guess you could say I was living large. Meaning, I finally got a bed and learned how to properly pronounce my resident state, Nevada, not Nevada. How did I celebrate? Play, of course. I loved painting, and I loved jacuzzis, so I thought, why not paint while in the jacuzzi? No lie, I had paint supplies in one hand and a towel in the other, and I marched down to the empty clubhouse and set up shop. After about 20 minutes, I heard the metal gate open, and 2 guys in their 20s joined me. They seemed nice, so we chatted for a bit. Hey, we're headed back to our house to get some orange juice. Do you want some? Sure, thanks. And I kept on playing. That's what I do and have always done. Play has always been a non-negotiable in my life. What if I were to tell you that this one simple activity is the cornerstone for becoming a better person, leader, family member, and professional? And what if I told you that the top 5 skills desired by employers in 2020, according to CNBC MarketWatch, LinkedIn, Biospace.com, and Rasmussen, are all learned and promoted by this activity? Yes, play. Why do we love movies like Elf, Big, and Willy Wonka? They speak to the child in all of us. They're stories of a playful spirit in an adult world, a childlike narrative that ends in a wealth of real-life lessons for every adult who watches them. The default setting of the characters in these movies is play. The playful spirit cracks the hardened spirit of the adult world, and the adult world needs more of that. I'm here to argue that your life depends on your ability to play. You want to win at this game called life? You need to play to win. Let's start by defining play. Dr. Stuart Brown, a play researcher and founder of the National Institute for Play, defines play as something done for its own sake. It's voluntary, it's pleasurable, it offers a sense of engagement, it takes one out of time, and the act itself is more important than the outcome. Play is going to look different for all of us. For me, it's hiking, traveling, creating YouTube videos. For you, it might be CrossFit, karaoke nights, learning TikTok dances, or anything else you get completely lost in. Let me make something clear. Play does not mean that you are participating in a juvenile or immature activity. Unfortunately, in today's status and success-driven culture, play is often shamed like a dirty 4-letter word. If I were to ask all of you to clear your schedules, meet me back here tomorrow, same time, same place for some playtime, how many of you would feel some shame or resistance because you're not being productive? Dr. Brené Brown, a former shame researcher, now focuses her studies on those who live wholehearted. In her list of the 10 characteristics of the wholehearted, the 7th one is, the wholehearted cultivate play and rest, letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. Ouch. The wholehearted cultivate play and rest, letting go of exhaustion as a status symbol and productivity as self-worth. Mic drop. In Stuart Brown's book, Play, he states, the opposite of play is not work. The opposite of play is depression. How successful of a person are you going to be, and how fulfilled of a life are you going to have if you're depressed? Why do we need to play? There have been a number of studies done over the past few decades arguing why adults need to play, but here are the top 8. Play relieves stress and releases endorphins. It improves brain function and prevents memory problems. It stimulates creativity and innovation. It improves relationship and connection. It heals emotional wounds. It teaches teamwork and cooperation. Play increases your energy, y'all. And finally, play allows you to see things from a different perspective. Ironically, Dr. Stuart Brown did not start out as a play researcher. He studied violent crimes and their offenders. After mass murderer Charles Whitman brutally took the lives of his wife, child, and 15 other innocent victims on August 1st, 1966, Brown and a team of experts in various mental health fields got together and spent the next 5 months studying Whitman and other violent criminals to try and find a common thread. Their most profound finding? Every single one of these criminals had a restricted history of play. Do you know that companies like NASA and Boeing refuse to hire some of the top-performing graduates from schools like Harvard if they discover that the student didn't play as a child? These companies understand the significance of play and the crucial role it has in the development of successful, well-rounded adults. Hopefully by now, you all just want to run out of here and go play. But how? For those of you who may have forgotten how, I have a few suggestions, all of which you've done as a child. I'm only here to reacquaint you with something you already know. 1, splash through puddles. What does a kid do when they see a puddle? They jump right in the middle of it. They aren't thinking about how deep it is or how wet or dirty they're going to get. They take the risk and go for it. Splash through puddles, literally and metaphorically. Meaning, be willing to take a risk and get messy. When I moved to Vegas almost 7 years ago, I had no earthly idea how hard it would be to move cross-country by myself to a city where I knew no one. Don't get me wrong, it was the messiest puddle I have ever splashed in, but also the most worth it. 2, find animals in the clouds. Have you ever laid in the grass, stared up at the sky, and looked for animals? You used your imagination. Everywhere I go, whether I'm walking around a new city or on a hike, I try and look at things with a different set of eyes. What do I see? Smiley faces and doorknobs, cutouts of sharks and rocks, and a whole bunch of other stuff that would have you question my sanity. Give yourself permission to see the world through your inner child's eyes. Pro tip, carry around a pack of googly-eyed stickers. That gives everything a personality. Finding animals in the clouds sparks you to look at things from a different perspective. It opens your mind to new possibilities and allows you to view problems from a different angle. Did you know that it's this exact skill that increases innovation and creativity in the workplace? So why not practice it all the time and strengthen that muscle? So when you go outside later, look up. Find an animal in the clouds. And number 3, build a fort. How many of you built a blanket fort as a kid? Here's a picture of a fort I built 4 years ago at 35. And yes, I slept in it. What did you do when you built a fort as a kid? You jumped into the project with tenacity and enthusiasm. You were excited. You forgot everything else in pursuit of your grand idea. You used the resources around you. I can almost guarantee you didn't ask your parents to take you to the closest Home Depot or Bed Bath & Beyond for supplies. You used what you had, and you made it work. Why can't we take this same philosophy and apply it to every project, business, and relationship we jump into? What if we kept building forts, even today? Or, in the words of one of my childhood heroes, Mary Poppins, in every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. You find the fun, and snap, the job's a game. So after you find an animal in the cloud and get home, build a fort. Your kids may even think you're cool. Or not. Remember that jacuzzi masterpiece that I was telling you about? Well, I didn't finish the story. What I didn't tell you was that the orange juice those men gave me was drugged. Shortly after drinking it, I don't remember the next 12 hours of my life. I do remember waking up to rug burns all over my legs. I do remember discovering that my laptop, iPhone, and money had all been stolen. And I do remember spending the day with CSI and in the hospital, only to be told that I was brutally raped the night before. Over the next few months, they were the worst of my life. Every single day, I had to fight the demons of depression and suicide that consumed my soul. However, I decided to take inventory of what those men did not take from me. And one of those was my inner child. The me that wanted to live, that wanted to splash through puddles, find animals in the clouds, and build forts. In short, it was my desire to play. I had to play to survive. Don't get me wrong, some days were worse than others, but I continued to play. Play helped me heal. Play helped me rise up and rise above. And believe it or not, play helped me forgive. The most pivotal moment of my healing journey was a trip to Yosemite. I was on a hike, and I started kicking this rock along the trail. This went on for several miles, and when I got back, I decided to keep that rock, slap a pair of googly eyes on him, and give him a name. Want to guess what I named him? Miles. See, there he is. By the way, Miles is a prime example of finding animals in the clouds. I took a rock and turned it into a pet with a personality. Something about Miles and that silly little game unlocked a new desire to live. It planted a seed of joy that had been lost for months. From that point on, Miles went with me everywhere, and I continued to use play to crawl out of the pit of despair. I even created an Instagram for Miles. Frequent Flyer Miles. Here's Miles doing yoga. As you can see, he's very good at plank. Miles on his first day of school at the School of Rock. Then I took him to meet his hero, The Rock. And lastly, for his birthday, I took him to see his favorite show, Rock of Ages. Do you guys want to meet Miles? Hey, Miles. Say hi, Miles. Ha! Ha, ha, ha. You just played. I just got you to talk to a rock. Play has and will always be a core value in my life. I can boldly say that thanks in part to play, my healing was accelerated. Here's a picture of me not even 90 days after the rape doing what? Splashing through puddles. Play. Allow this innocent practice to crack the hardened spirit of your adult world. Play to live. Play to win. Splash through puddles, find animals in the clouds, build forts. Reconnect with your inner child. He or she hasn't gone away. They're still inside you, waiting to come out and make your life fun again, waiting to come out and play.